Stop treating the Patriots' offensive growth like it is just some random offseason talking point. If Drake Maye is going to take the leap Foxborough is demanding, this team needs more than good-looking names on paper. It needs trust on third down, weapons that can actually separate, depth that does not fall apart, and a defense that is not built on a cheap gamble. Today we have a veteran holding the whole structure together, a serious market possibility, a star shutting down a technical question, and a corner fighting with his back against the wall. If you agree New England has to attack right now, hit that like button. The first message comes from Hunter Henry, and I am not sugarcoating this. Anybody treating this guy like just another piece has not understood what the Patriots are trying to build around Drake Maye. 3 head coaches, 4 offensive coordinators, 5 starting quarterbacks in 5 New England seasons, and Henry has remained the same reliable presence through all of that chaos. That is not glamour, that is high-level survival. That is a player who has lived through a rebuild, leadership changes, system changes, outside criticism, and still shows up when the play gets tight. He is going into year 6 with the Patriots, year 11 in the NFL, at 31 years old, with 142 career games and 86 in New England. Yes, there is mileage. Yes, the clock catches everybody eventually. But the aggressive point is this. Until somebody proves otherwise, Henry is still producing like a tight end Maye can trust when the defense squeezes the field and the entire fan base is holding its breath. 60 catches, 768 yards, 7 touchdowns in the regular season. For an offense still trying to find real stability, those numbers are not decoration. They are the foundation. The strongest part is the way he talks about Maye. Henry talked about attacking every day, about the offense working like an orchestra, with everybody playing the same tune. It sounds clean, but inside a Josh McDaniels system, that matters. Year 2 in the same scheme changes the quarterback's brain. Maye cannot just memorize calls. He has to command the board, fix protections, adjust plays, and become almost a second coordinator on the field. That is where Henry becomes more than a target. He becomes a translator, a reference point, a safety valve, and a real gauge for the offense's growth. New England cannot lean on him like it is still 2021 forever. Austin Hooper left in free agency. Julian Hill got hurt in minicamp. Eli Raradun, the third-round rookie, is trying to speed up his development. Henry praised the rookie, talked about bringing the group together and playing cleaner offensive football. But let's be honest, if the Patriots really want to protect Maye, they cannot ask Henry to carry the entire tight end room by himself. The read is simple, and it is heavy. Henry is still trust. Henry is still production. Henry is still professional culture inside an offense that has to grow up fast. But this franchise has to use that consistency as a bridge, not a crutch. Because if Maye is going to become the dangerous quarterback Henry sees, New England has to turn experience into explosiveness, safety into aggression, and third down into punishment for defenses that still think they can push the Patriots backward. That is exactly why the Jonnu Smith conversation cannot be treated like cheap nostalgia or just another name floating around the market. When Julian Hill suffers a knee injury and is out for the 2026 season, the room changes temperature immediately. You lose depth. You lose a piece that was supposed to help answer the Austin Hooper departure, and you place even more weight on Hunter Henry and rookie Eli Raradun. Then Jonnu Smith appears as a possibility, and I'm sorry, but the Patriots have every reason to study that fit aggressively. Mike Vrabel knows this player. Smith was already in Tennessee before Vrabel got there, but under him, he delivered strong production in his final years with the Titans. 76 catches, 887 yards, and 11 touchdowns over his last 2 seasons there. In 2020, he finished second on the team in touchdown receptions with 8. That matters because Vrabel would not be looking only at old stats. He knows the athlete, the presence, and what Jonnu can give you when his role is clear. The fit in New England screams one thing: dynamism. Henry is stability, processing, trust. Jonnu would bring a different texture, a more explosive tight end after the catch, someone who can attack space, change coverage angles, and force defenses to think twice before getting comfortable against heavy personnel. 2 years ago in Miami, he caught 88 passes for 884 yards and 8 touchdowns in a Pro Bowl season. In Pittsburgh, inside a crowded room, he dropped to 38 catches, 222 yards, and 2 touchdowns. To me, that does not erase his value. That shows context. Fewer opportunities do not mean the player suddenly stopped mattering. New England has to be smart. Any veteran does not automatically solve the problem. This offense needs pieces that help Maye in practical ways. Short area separation, a reliable outlet, yards after contact, and formation versatility. Jonnu can offer that better than a typical secondary tight end. And while Raradun develops, bringing in a player like that could keep the offense from leaning too hard on a rookie before he is truly ready. The internal question for the Patriots should be aggressive. Does this move bring Maye closer to playing comfortably, or does it just take up space? If the answer is comfort, movement, threat, and protection for the offensive plan, New England cannot stand still while the AFC keeps speeding up. Henry holds the standard. Jonnu could make the problem bigger for defenses, and with McDaniels trying to build a more dangerous offense, that kind of fit deserves serious attention. Then comes the type of news that changes the tone of an entire room. For way too long, the national conversation around the Patriots offense sounded almost exactly the same. No weapons, no separation, no threat that forces a defense to respect every inch of the field. So when A.J. Brown shows up as New England's leading receiver for 2026, and the route running, catching, and yards after catch metrics all scream elite, the response has to be strong. That is not a side note. That is a hierarchy shift. According to ESPN's Mike Reese, Brown ranked inside the top 16 wide receivers in 3 categories during the 2025 season: ability to get open, ability to finish the catch, and production after the ball is in his hands. Out of 110 receivers evaluated, only he and Puka Nacua reached that level across all 3 areas. That is wild. And Patriots fans need to feel the weight of it. We are not talking about only a physical receiver who wins through contact, or only a deep ball target. We are talking about a receiver who wins before the ball arrives, wins at the catch point, and still hurts the defense afterward. Brown had a 64.5% catch rate, 2.14 yards per route run, 3.4 yards after the catch per reception, and a target separation rate of 1.23 yards per reception. Those numbers tell a story. They say Drake Maye would not just be getting a big name in the huddle, he would be getting an answer. A target who turns a read into confidence. A receiver who can attack deep, fight across the middle, win with power, and still create when the play turns into a fight. I will push right back against any lazy narrative here. You cannot demand that Maye carry the rebuild and then downplay it when New England puts this kind of profile around him. A young quarterback needs a reference point. He needs somebody who tilts coverage, opens room for the tight end, helps on third down, and turns a tight window into an explosive play. Brown makes this offense less predictable before the ball is even snapped. Fanbase thermometer, from 0 to 10. How much does this Maye and A.J. Brown combination make you believe the Patriots offense can finally stop asking for respect and start taking it? Because if Henry is the safety, if Jonnu can be the movement, Brown is the heavy shot. And when an offense starts stacking those pieces together, the conversation stops sounding like patient rebuilding and starts sounding like a real threat. But a team trying to earn respect again can not only stare at the shine on offense, the defense has to go through Vrabel's brutal filter too, and that is where Brandon Crossley lands in an uncomfortable spot. New England invested heavily in the cornerback room in 2025. Carlton Davis and Marcus Jones got major contracts, and the franchise also tried to build depth behind them. Crossley arrived as an undrafted free agent after last year's draft, coming out of SMU, and now he enters year 2 with a cold question sitting on the table. Is he real depth, or just another name getting squeezed by the competition? His story has substance. Before the NFL, Crossley was a 4-star high school prospect, went through Colorado State, then landed at SMU, and played 54 games for the Mustangs, 30 as a starter. He had 7 turnovers, 11.5 tackles for loss, 26 pass breakups, and even scored a touchdown on a fumble recovery in 2024. That shows instinct, presence around the football, and experience. He is not some random player with no competitive resume. The NFL does not pay you for an old resume. It demands what you can do against bigger, sharper, more violent route runners. Crossley is 5 feet 10, 186 pounds, ran a 4.44 in the 40, and has the straight line speed to carry vertical routes. He tracks the ball well in the air, has disruptive hands at the catch point, and competes above his frame. That is the side that keeps the door open. On a long roster, a corner who can run, fight, and help on special teams always deserves attention. The problem is that the door is not wide open. His relative athletic score was 3.82, and the change of direction testing does not sell the picture of a fluid athlete who can answer more complex routes. He lacks ideal lower body flexibility, size, length, and that can show up against physical receivers or in tackling situations. He spent his rookie season bouncing on and off the practice squad without getting into a game. Looking interesting in a scouting report is not enough anymore. He has to force the coaches to see immediate usefulness. That is the right standard. Patriots teams that want to get back to a high level cannot treat depth like a footnote. Injuries happen. Sub-packages matter. Special teams flip field position. Crossley has tools to fight, but the margin is thin. Either he turns speed, ball skills, and competitiveness into daily trust, or he becomes a natural casualty of a roster trying to raise the bar. In Foxborough, a good story does not hold a roster spot. Production does. When you stack these 4 stories together, they hit the same place. The Patriots are no longer in a phase where interesting is enough. Hunter Henry shows Maye already has a reliable anchor. Jonnu Smith shows up as a chance to add more venom to the tight end package. I.J. Brown brings the kind of threat that changes coverage before the ball comes out. And Brandon Crossley reminds you that, on the other side, depth only matters when it becomes trust. New England has to decide who accelerates this new era and who is just taking up space. If you want to follow that Foxborough pressure every single day, subscribe, hit the like button, and comment which move the Patriots need to attack right now.